Sri Kumaraswamy College Ausa, which is in district Latur, state Maharashtra, India, takes this international e-conference as an opportunity to welcome all the honorable dignitaries and delegates here at the virtual platform. The topic of today's international e-conference is emotional intelligence in business. The college, Sri Kumaraswamy College, Ausa, is affiliated to Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded. The college undertakes number of innovative activities for students, teachers, researchers, intellectuals, academicians, and all the stakeholders. The objectives of the international e-conference are to exchange knowledge and to have fruitful discussion after the keynote speeches. All these activities are going on with tremendous success, and it is due to the hard efforts and tenacity of chief organizer, Honorable Principal Dr. M. Ambedkar sir. On behalf of the organizing committee, International E-Conference and Sri Kumaraswamy College Ausa, I welcome you sir for the today's International E-Conference as the chairperson. Today I feel immense pleasure to make all the delegates and participants know that we have among us the dignitary and keynote speaker, chief guest, Honorable Herdiana Dewi Nurfika ma'am, who is founder and CEO of Bliss Education Center from Indonesia. She is going to enlighten us on the topic, as I noted before, emotional intelligence in business. And I also welcome organizing committee member Prashant Ughade sir. Welcome sir. And I know very well that the delegates and participants are eager to listen keynote speech. So I would like to invite Honorable Herdiana Devi Nurfika ma'am for her keynote speech and presentation. Please ma'am, welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Prakaskara, for your great warm welcome and also introduction. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the international conference. I hope that today we're going to learn so much in this session. And first of all, I'd like to say thank you so much, Dr. Becker, for the invitation, and also for Sri Kumar Swami Maha Divyalaya Alsa. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm so happy today. And as Mr. Prakash already mentioned, today we're going to discuss about emotional intelligence in business. Now let me share my screen. Okay, is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So as Mr. Prakash already introduced me, my name is Herdiana from Indonesia. I'm CEO and founder of Bliss Education Center, and besides that, I'm also a certified business coach. That's why I truly passionate about this topic, which is emotional intelligence in business. But before we get started, I'd like to highlight one very famous and important quote by Daniel Goleman. He is the one who distribute or even make emotional intelligence term famous. He stated that if your emotional abilities are not in hand, if you don't have self-awareness, and if you are not able to manage your distressing emotions, and if you can't have empathy and effective relationship, then no matter how smart you are, you're not going to get very far. Okay, I think this quote is actually kind of got touched with your heart. Maybe you have seen so many very smart people in your entire life, but you see like their life is getting stuck. Their career is not really growing fast. Maybe even though they have a high IQ, they might have low EQ, which is not balanced. Because in success, if you want to achieve the success in any kind of the field, whether it's work or relationship with the college, we need to balance an EQ or emotional intelligence. That's why we're going to talk about this in today's session. So, what is emotional intelligence? We use this term as the ability of someone to manage, understand their own emotions and also the other emotion of other people. Let's say if you can recognize, okay, I'm getting mad right now when the students are not understanding enough of my lessons, for example, then you might notice you might have a self-awareness or you know like what you're feeling. But if you don't have empathy towards your students, then you cannot say that you are a good lecturer or a good teacher with a high emotional intelligence, because in term to perceive you are as a person with a high emotional intelligence, you also need to understand other people because you put that empathy. Okay, before we go further for this session, I'd like to show a video about how our neuroplasticity work. This is actually how our brain work. Okay, hold on. Um, okay. Okay, so as you can see in the picture, there is one neuron and the other neurons. This is how our brain get information, okay? And let's say when you say like, I'm happy today, I'm eager to learn from this conference, I'm waiting this conference, maybe you said it yesterday or maybe you said it this morning, then it's going to create a new neurons on your brain, okay? We have millions of neuron connection in our brain. And once you do something, once you keep repeating or remembering something, then it's going to make a connection stronger, okay? Let's say you have a thought like, I am happy, okay, and then maybe later you have kind of challenging in your life, okay, this kind of things are going to hard rewire on your brain, okay, and this going to restore for 15 years back to your past. Let's say yesterday you are mad, maybe last week you were happy, last year you were extremely happy. Those thoughts is going to restart for the last 15 years, okay, but it's not going to last forever if you don't keep doing it, okay? So if you say that you are happy yesterday, but today you keep saying like you're a failure, no one likes you, you are not worth it, and so on, it's going to create another neurons, even though you already created the happy moment or happy thought in your brain, okay? And when you keep saying bad words to your brain, as you can see, it connects to each other, then the loudest voice that you keep telling yourself or you keep showing up as a human, it's going to be the most stronger connection, okay? We have the connection in our brain, okay, but when you don't do or there is no repetition, then the glue in which neurons, it's going to separate. Let's say it's not going to strong enough. So when you want to do a business, when you become a teacher who wants to do let's say entrepreneurship journey, you have to maintain those positive minds because it's going to strengthen the good connection in your brain, which is going to motivate you even more, okay? Even if you say bad words to yourself last night, please make up today with more beautiful words so you can get stronger connection. And that's how we have to do in our life when we want to do a business too. Okay, maybe you have faced so many setbacks or so many challenges, you keep reminding yourself that you shouldn't give up right now because there's going to be another chance, because there's always room for improvement and you don't have to worry even if you failed. Okay, that's the mindset that what you have to do and what you need as an entrepreneur, okay? Because all the changes take place at the unconscious level. Unconscious level is any kind of the things outside of the conscious level. For example, your thought, your dream. It's kind of unconscious. Let's say right now we are having international conferences and I got invited by Dr. Bedkar. This conference is maybe once was a thought by Dr. Bedkar. Okay, but now we are having our live. We're having meeting in the Google Meet and it's become reality. That's how it works. Everything that we are doing actually once was a thought. Maybe by you or the other people around you. But now you are living that reality. So that's a simple, like I have said, this conference once was a thought, but now we become reality. So, you know, how we become aware about what our thought is actually going to create a reality. Okay, why is it really important to have emotional intelligence in a high level? Because as you can see in here in the presentation, if someone has a low emotional intelligence, they tend to show up as aggressive people, demanding, bossy, and also selfish. Maybe you have some colleagues who always demand you to have more and more without, yeah, let's say, take you for granted, and maybe become selfish, like give you more tasks, give you more assignment, give you more to-do list and so on, without even taking care of your health, of your mental health. Then this kind of people are classified as a low emotional intelligence person. But when someone has a high emotional intelligence, they come up or they show up in the world as a assertive person. They warm, they show up enthusiastic, they're also patient, stable, predictable. And what's really great and nice thing about people with a high emotional intelligence is they become also social person, like social butterfly. They can socialize easily with with other people, which means that they can also show the strong will with any kind of the things. And as human beings, we want to make connection with other people. This person with high emotional intelligence is going to show up as a good listener. Okay, imagine sometimes we have a problem and we just don't want someone else to fix our problem, but we just need someone who can listen to us, who become a detail maybe when we want to get help or solve the problem. Okay, that's why we need this in our life to build more healthy lifestyle, healthy environment, either at work or at home. Okay, because we are not going to be put ourselves much around selfish person, around aggressive person, around bossy people or controversial. Okay, and then, what is actually the benefits of emotional intelligence? Why we are here today? Why we need to learn and get to know about this topic? Well, when we learn more about emotional intelligence, of course, it's going to improve our relationship, because one of the component of emotional intelligence is social skills. Okay, and then we can also have a good conflict resolution skills, because yeah, we can have a better understanding when we show the empathy to what other people. And then the third part is stress management. The thing is, we become easily get mad. We easily blame our lives, blame other people, just because maybe we get so much strength, okay, or so much stress. So we don't have to think much about it. If we have good enough self-regulation, even though you got through so much of feedback in a negative emotions, or maybe you got so much criticism, then you know how to handle it. You don't see it as an attack, but you see it as a process to grow and to build those opportunities in a better way. Okay, and once you have a good emotional intelligence, you can make a better decision making. Imagine when you become, let's say, aggressive, selfish, you cannot even listen what other people wants to say to you, then of course everything seems like in a hurry. Okay, when someone become bossy, they tend to want you to finish the job or to finish the task in a hurry, in a quick. And then when actually all the things come up on your mind, and maybe they become so nervous too in specific situation, then we actually cannot make a good decision. But when we remain calm, when we know how to regulate our emotions, how to put the empathy toward other, and to see the social around us, then we can make a better decision that can bring benefits not only for ourselves but also for other people around us. The next or the last one, the benefits, is enhanced communication. Okay, in order to maintain emotional intelligence, we have to learn how to socialize with other people. That's why it's going to be 100% sure going to enhance your communication. Okay, so again, was it important as a leader in your family, for example, or in the classroom or at the work, to have a high emotional intelligence? Because a leader with a high EQ, they can create a low stress work environment. Meanwhile, someone who have low EQ, They create a stressful work environment. I'm sure in your life you have met a person or some people even who just created a stress environment at work. Maybe they just exaggerated everything, or maybe they tend to criticize the thing that is actually unnecessary. This kind of people are obviously a person with a low EQ. Okay, and I'm sure you don't want to be that person. You don't want to teach your students. You don't want to be with your college with such a low emotional intelligence, because when a leader show up with high EQ, they can put people at ease. Okay, they show the communication at ease, and they make clear. Sometimes people ask us to do, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that, but they just simple point at the fingers. They don't really clearly mention how to get through it, how the challenges that you might face, and how actually the solution of anything that might happen during the process. But a leader with high emotional intelligence, they know what the strength and the weakness, and not going to put up the finger or give you a task without any kind of let's say monitoring. So this is really important for you. I'm sure when I talk about a leader, it's not always supposed to be, okay, I need to be a principal at a school, I need to be maybe a rector at the university or head of department and so on. Every person in this world, we were born to be a leader. Okay, the difference is only the different scope where you're going to stand out as a leader. But as a human being, we always need those kind of leadership skills in our life to make our life easier and also make our lives going hand on hand in peace. Okay, so we talk about leadership, we talk about the leader and so on. So what actually the components of EQ? Okay, according to Daniel Goleman, I hope you remember the one that I stated the quote in the beginning. He mentioned five components of emotional intelligence. The first one is self-awareness. The second one is self-regulation. Third is self-motivation, and fourth empathy, and the last one is social skills. So, what is actually self awareness? It means that you know or you understand your mood, your motivation, and also your ability. Sometimes many people only understand their strength. They just don't want to admit or cannot even admit their weakness. Okay, and then what is social or what is self-regulation? It means that you have the ability to pause, to sit back before you talk something, before you give response. Okay, it's like the ability to think before you speak or react, and the ability to express yourself appropriately. It means you're not going to jump into an argument without even think first. Okay, next, motivation. Motivation means that having interest in learning and self improvement in order for you to grow as a better or the best version of yourself. And empathy means they understand what other people have been through, understand what other people emotions and also reaction, and how can actually impact us or impact them as human beings. Next is social skills. Actually, when I talk about social skills, it's not only about, okay, I can communicate with them, with him, with her, and so on. The social skills in our society, especially we live in digital age, is actually the ability to pick up the jokes, the sarcasms. Why? Because I have seen in some kind of social media platform, let's mention like Twitter or X or even Facebook and Instagram. Some people might make jokes or sarcasm, but they actually didn't have intention to mock the other person, but someone who might have similar pattern with that joke or with that sarcasm might feel like they got attacked, and they just come up on that pace or for example, and then mess up with that person. Okay, it means that that person don't have enough social skills. We need to be able, especially in this digital age, to respond rather than react to any kind of the posts on social media that we have seen, okay, or in our circle. And that means it means that we need also do such kind of customer service skills. When I talk about customer service, it's not always about serve other people as we are customer service, represent a specific company. No, it means like, yeah, maybe you can become a good listener, you become unapproachable in a good meantime as well. Okay. And then the most important thing about social skills and emotional intelligence is about maintaining friendship and relationship. I do believe that all of you might agree with me that it's easy to make new friends. I can come to the Facebook and send add friend button, or I can go to LinkedIn and send connect or follow button. But maintaining the relationship or the friendship is not as easy as we think, or as not as easy as once we create. So we have to maintain this kind of a thing. Okay, so for example, like I have said, in business, when we talk about self-awareness, means that it's include understand our strength and our weakness. You need to recognize your own emotion, your strength, your weakness, and understanding the impact has on others. Okay, because when you want to be an entrepreneur in any kind of field, it's not only about, okay, I'm going to get money, I'm going to get profit in this, in that, by adding it. No, it's not only like that, but it's also the impact on other people. If you only become aware, okay, I want to be rich, I want to work on this specific project, for example, then you don't have enough self-awareness. Okay. I have one example that we are going to use for the other components in this presentation too. First is like you heard that a friend talk bad about you. Okay, self-awareness means that you recognize that you feel hurt and sad. Okay, you can ask yourself like, how do I feel about this when someone talk bad behind my back, especially if they are my friends or my colleague. Okay. Next, with the self-regulation means that you need to be able to manage or expressing your emotion appropriately. Okay, and it also means that being flexible, you need to adapt well to the change. For example, after your friends or your colleague talk bad about you behind, you can decide what actually you want to do when your friend talk bad about you. Okay, you have the option. You can be confront, you can ignore, or get mad at your friend. Okay, but during that process, you can think any kind of possible outcome of each action. Okay, so you can ask yourself like, given how I feel, how should I react or respond? Okay, this is the self regulation is really important in emotional intelligence process. Okay, because you need to understand the difference between response and reaction. Reaction comes from a place of fear. Let's say someone talk bad about you and you fear that, oh, other people might also talk bad about me, other people might also think bad about me, and they don't want to be my friend, for example. So you become fear of something that is not even true, for example. But when you give a proper response, it comes from a place of love and respect. So let's say other people talk bad about you, but you have respect and also you have love for yourself and for others, so you don't want to mess up. You tend to choose to pause, breathe, and respond rather than react. Okay, because always remember that reaction is all about self-preservation. Meanwhile, respond maintains self-control. So you need to pause before you even talk. That's why think before you talk or act. Okay. Next is self-motivation. So self-motivation is actually driven by internal rewards like seek challenge and also have passions. Okay, so when someone talk bad about you, even though you are nervous about confrontation, you can decide to ask your friend directly. Okay, and you can tell like you get hurt, you can tell how is your feeling after they talk bad about you. And this in this motivation process, you can ask yourself like, regardless how I feel, I need to do blah blah blah. Okay, but I want to highlight something. Even though this motivation seems like you can confront others, you always need to remember that you don't always need to confront everything that happened in your life, because it's going to drain your energy. Okay, but always remember that perhaps there is room for improvement by this. Okay, so even if someone talk bad about you, I'm sure there is a little bit lesson probably that you can learn. Next, empathy. Like I have mentioned earlier, empathy means that understanding what other feelings, like you put yourself on their shoes, you know how's their feeling, how's their emotion, how they see the world, and you respect their point of view. That's how you maintain the empathy. Okay, when someone talk bad about you, you can talk to that person nicely, and maybe let's say they apologize for talking bad about you, and then at that time, instead of confront that person, you can recognize that your friend feels bad and talk kindly about what happened, and they apologize, and you don't hold the grudge. Okay, you tend to let go of that situation, and you can say to yourself that I know how you're feeling. Okay, but always remember, just because you can forgive other people, it's also important for you to understand that you need to set boundaries. Okay, you need to be able to understand that you can be a very forgiveness person but still have high boundaries. You don't need to keep toxic people in your life. Next is social skills. So during the business, for example, social skills means like building relationship, interacting, communicating with others, and also finding common ground. And the most important social skills is actual active listening, influencing, and also leadership and collaboration. Actually, I can mention many more important social skills, but this is the most important thing. Okay, so once you notice, or once you confront someone who talk bad about you or about your business, you can decide. Like I have said, you can set the boundaries whether you want to continue being friends or being a partner, being a collaborator or being in a partnership, or you just want to moving forward without them. It's always your choice, okay? And you can make decision about your relationship, and you might think about like the best thing for me to do now is maybe take a break to talk to that person or keep going the program that I have worked in with that person. It's always your choice, okay? So now here I get the example of the CEO of fast growing tech startup. In this case, we have Sarah. Sarah is a leader with high emotional intelligence, so she demonstrates her high emotional intelligence in her business. First is she knows her self-awareness, she knows her strength, she knows her weakness as a leader. So while she excels, let's say, in strategic planning, we know that there is no one is perfect. So instead of put all of the works to her, she knows how she acknowledges and also actively works on delegating tasks and also empowering her team. So she didn't take all the works that might give her burnout. Okay, next, self-regulation. We know that as a leader, especially in the tech industry, there's always high pressure environment. Okay, so in this case, Sarah maintained her self-regulation by reflecting also refrain. So instead of give a reaction impulsive, she tried to take a step back and assess the situation objectively if there is something bad happen. Next is empathy. As a leader, in this case, Sarah is always showing understanding and also respect to her employees or to her colleagues. And also with a good high social skills, Sarah keeps building a good relationship and also foster inclusive and collaborative work. After knows the strength and the weakness, I think it's easier for us to build a healthy environment work. So even if there's some kind of the failure, we're not going to blame that person. We are not going to be in a victim mode. Let's say, as a leader, you need to finish this, and if you don't, let's say, finish, or if you don't get the deadline or get the project, then I might lose something as a business, blah blah blah. You don't have to say to your employee. You can remind a positive work, a better communication skills to them. Okay. Next is motivation. As a leader, we always need to show motivation, but we should start from ourselves first. Okay, we can show our enthusiasm, our optimistic. Like I have said, even if there is a failure, you need to show up as a good cheerleader for yourself, for your company, and also for your team, because you are working with people, not only with yourself. Okay. So, with the five elements of emotional intelligence, I am curious what is actually your strongest element, or maybe what is actually your weakness that you want to improve. Okay, you can take a note on the paper, or you can write down in the chat box. And if you doubt about what's the elements that become strong and also weak element, we can have a quick test. Okay, so there is a question as you can see in the screen. You can take a capture of this presentation. Maybe you want to answer by yourself later. So by all of these eight questions, if the most of answer of the question is no, it means that you need to improve your emotional intelligence first. For example, are you usually aware of how people around you are feeling? If your answer is no, then you don't have self-awareness and empathy. Okay, and then are you good at picking up on body language skills? If your answer is no, then you might don't have a good enough social skills. And also you can ask like, do you know how to effectively manage your own stress? If your answer is no, then you don't have good enough self-regulation. Okay, you can take a capture of these questions and you can answer it by yourself later. Okay, or during this session is also fine. So if let's say after a quick test, you feel like you need to improve your emotional intelligence level, you need to do better for yourself and for others, what you have to do in order to improve your emotional intelligence, the first thing you can do is be more self-aware. And you can achieve this, be more self-aware, by doing meditation and also mindfulness. Okay, why meditation and mindfulness? Because before we get connected to outsider, we need to get connected to the insider. We need to connect ourselves, we need to clear our mind. Once we have a rumination, scattered brain, for example, we cannot even think clearly. That's why we need to calm ourselves first. Okay, next is express your thoughts, feelings, and also beliefs, because this is a part of you for challenging your awareness. You need to know your emotions and also your feelings so you can regulate it once something bad happens. Okay, and always discover what is actually your inner patient, because as soon as you discover your inner patient, you can maintain and also you can be a good motivation for yourself. Okay, next is know your strengths and weakness. It's a good to know your awareness about your strength, about your weakness, so you can know where is the room for improvement, where is the things that I'm excel that I actually can boost in my career, for example. And always remember to remind the empathy. So walk in other person mechanism. Like you put yourself on their shoes. You're not going to judging. You're not going to blaming other people so easily, because you understand that some people might have been through in several things. Okay. Next is you need to manage your own impulses. Okay, it's truly important. Even me, I'm talking right now about emotional intelligence in business, but I do admit that I also sometimes has kind of the problem with my own impulses, like distraction, maybe come from a rumination or procrastination and so on. So I have to be aware in this kind of things. We can work on what is actually distract ourselves, what is actually be a good analytic person for my business, for my lecture, for example, or for my presentation, for example. And then you need to understand that you need to do a copying management skills. And then always remember, if you want to be a sociable, if you want to have empathy, and if you want to be able to regulate yourself, you need to be more flexible. Why you need to be more flexible? Like I have said, even in the social skills, you need to understand what is jokes, what is sarcasm, what is actually the sentence that other people say to you for improvement rather than attack. Okay, so you need to be more passive, or you need to be more flexible. Maybe you think you are the best, but who knows if someone else is even more expert than you. If you keep saying, okay, I'm a good leader, I'm the best leader in this field, then how can you even improve? How can you be better person or the best person in your field or in your department, for example, if you don't become flexible. Once you become flexible, you not becoming a person with full of water in a glass, okay, but you come like half or you come maybe in empty, so you are always achieving something like, yeah, lifelong learner. You become more enthusiastic, you show enthusiasm in learning new things, and you become flexible with other people's opinions. You don't hold grudge when other people disagree with your opinions, for example. And then always remember to be grateful. No matter what kind of the jobs, either you are a student, either you are teachers, lecturer, or even a president, we always need to be grateful. We need to remain grateful in order to have a balanced emotional intelligence, because those moments when we become grateful is actually bring our empathy to other people. If I am become greedy, if I don't care enough about what's going on in other people, I cannot be grateful, I cannot show the empathy, which is not going to make a good connection for my social skills. So please be aware of these 10 tips that I just explained to you, because you can always start something to be the best version of yourself. Okay, maybe you might say, "Oh my God, these 10 things seem so difficult for you," and that's okay. You can start today with the first point, tomorrow with the second point. By the end of the week, you can already become a sociable person, which is going to be really good in order to make your career in investment, in order to start your business, or to make a good connection with your student, for example. Instead of judging your student like you are saying bad words just because they got a bad grade, for example, in the classroom, you can show some kind of awareness and also empathy. Why this student have a lower grade compared to the other student? Why this lecturer seems like a good get paper journal, or a good get citation in that research journal, for example. There is always room for improvement, and there is always need for you to be curious, to be enthusiastic about what you are doing in your life. And always please always be careful that what we are doing, what we are seeing is actually going to make the connection or the wire system in our neurons get stronger. For example, you have seen my flyer, okay, and the theme is emotional intelligence in business. You saw it. You create the neurons connection, like you want to learn emotional. You are listening to me, or maybe you are taking notes, or maybe you answer my quick task. Then it's going to make the connection stronger, and once it's stronger, it's easier for your brain to access it. Okay, why so many people forget about what they have learned or about what they have done to others? Because there's no repetition. Okay, once you see something, you connect to something, you repeat something, it's going to create more connection and stronger connection in your neurons. That's why you must remember the things that you frequently do, because that's how your brain accesses those memories in your neuroplasticity. Okay, always remember the things in your control and also out of your control. Your boundaries, your thoughts, your self-care, your action, your words, what you do, or your opinions is always in your control. But what other people say, what other people believe about yourself, what other people existency, or other people feelings is out of your control. So given any kind of feelings, emotions, opinions other people throw at you, always remember that you have the full control over your thoughts, over your feeling. Okay, so please be mindful that only work on something that is in your control rather than something that out of your control. This is where our self-regulation is needed. Okay, so like I have mentioned, like actually maybe some of you have different kind of the jobs or experiences, but one thing for sure is that we are unique human being. Okay, and then you might say that you feel love when you're looking a picture of your family, but other people might say that they feel anger when they see the same pictures, because we all are unique. Our brain have different memories. Each on every situation. Let's say right now we are sitting together, seeing my presentation, maybe some of my example trigger you, like when I said someone talked bad about you in your past. Some people might don't have a connection with the story or with the example, while some other people might get connected. Oh, okay, I remember someone has ever done to me. So even though I gave you a same example, you might have different interpretation. Okay, and always remember that emotions are created by our brain in response to what we are seeing and expressing in the world around us. Okay, that's why other people opinions are out of your control, and other people opinions might not 100% true. So you don't have to be sad, you don't have to be worrying much about it, because it's you who's supposed to be know yourself best. Okay, and always remember that what seems joyful or exciting to one person might seem boring or annoying to someone else. That's why, as a human being, we need to respect other people. We need to show empathy, and we need to grab a good or signal in the body language where we are socializing to other person, so we don't hurt them unconsciously. Okay, and remember that the only way we all start to understand each other is through practice. Don't say, okay, I'm going to be a better person tomorrow at the university or in the classroom. I'm going to show more empathy to my college or to my students. No, you don't have to start tomorrow. You can start today. But you might give actual excuses like, I don't have my student at my room, for example. It's okay. You can always start with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Have enough respect to yourself before you want to have respect or before you want to show your respect to others. Okay? And then, yeah, the more you talk about how you feel in certain situation or how someone else made you feel in, the more understanding and stronger connections you can build to them. Okay, so if you feel bad, if you feel sad, you can always do a cognitive reconstruction. Okay, you can always remember that whatever that you feel bad about yourself, or you've had a failure in your project, or maybe when your student don't have good enough grade in your subject, always remember that instead of putting label on those students, always remember that there must be some kind of the moment or situation that they are good. Okay, so instead of blaming yourself as an educator, you can think like, okay, even though let's say Mr. A B got a bad score, you can remind yourself, but the C D E F G students, they got a good score, so you don't have to blame yourself. Okay, you need to always write down your supporting thoughts or evidence about your negative or your positive thought. Why I suggest you to write down? Because sometimes I can think a million thoughts on my brain while I'm talking, while I'm thinking bad about myself, but it's only going to be clearer while I write down. Okay, let's say when I think about, oh my god, I'm such a failure because my student didn't get a good enough grade, it can bring so much annoying moment in my brain. But once I write it down, I remind myself there's also a very respectful and a great students that can achieve a goal, who even excels in many subjects, also including your subject. They can actually be your motivation. Okay, and please keep journaling. Like you can notice how is your feeling going to change in 7 days, for example. As soon as you practice, become more aware about your mood, about your emotion and feelings in daily basis. Okay, so okay, this is just example. Like I have a leadership top program. If you're interested, maybe you can take a capture and you can ask the admin to join in this thought leadership training program, because in this program there's going to be emotional intelligence topic too. Okay, so the conclusion is emotional intelligence is really important because we need to be aware of ourselves and other people. We know that emotion can truly control the way we think, the way we act, and the way we feel about what's going on in ours, which is going to be 100% clear. It's going to impact those around us too. So when we are aware of our own emotion and how they work, actually, like our brain, like in the video that I show you, we can use that knowledge to help us deal with other people problem and also our own problem rather than putting or dragging other people in our problem. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that you have learned or you have take a good note from my presentation. And I'm so happy and grateful to join in this international conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Herdiana ma'am. You have explained very clearly about the today's topic, emotional intelligence in BS, and covered each and every points to the topic so sincerely. So I'm very, very thankful to you. Now I request dear participants with your queries. If you have, please come ahead, dear participants.
Feel free to ask any questions or maybe if you want to share your life story as an educator because yeah, as educator you always get connect and interact with other people too. So this kind of emotional intelligence is truly important. I saw that someone is raised his hand.
Dr. Swanand Shukla sir, please.
Welcome, sir.
Hello. Good evening, Dr. Bedkar sir, Prashant sir. And thank you very much, ma'am. Wonderful presentation you have made. And we are dealing with, no doubt, we are dealing with emotional intelligence in each and every field. So it may be an industry, it may be a medical field, we are also doing our business. And even a shop, what we can say. Everywhere the emotional intelligence is very important and that sensitivity regarding emotion is very important. So I think, I can get a very simple thing that, when I go to the shop and the person takes care and he provides his service with a most meticulous way, we like that kind of shops. But where you'll find the people are reluctant and they are just standing and they are not, they are not helping us and a little, rigid what we can find out. So this kind of people, what I feel, we don't find need to go again over there. So our experience is always with that emotions. So that is very important. So even for the I belong to medical field and the emotions, we are dealing with the human beings as such. So that emotions are very important. That human touch is very important. No doubt the AI is coming and leading, and so many things is happening now in the world. But the emotional intelligence is one of the very, very important factor. My very important question is, if suppose I'm doing some business, so if I'm having passion, I put my emotion, really speaking, and that is how I grow. But if suppose, someone is having that profession, maybe because of his whatever the education he had, and he's there attached for just his bread and butter. Now he has to cultivate his emotional intelligence in such a field, where he is no much interested. But as a fact, that be realistic that many of the times we land in a wrong land. So it happens. And how to cultivate that kind of emotional intelligence in this kind of businesses. So is there any trick? Is there any kind of technique by which we can improve our emotional intelligence in that kind of business? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swanan, for your great share story and also questions. Well, actually, let's say I truly got touched when you said like sometimes we end up in a different light up. I do believe that sometimes maybe we have a background in education, but we work in different fields, right? So when we want to start a business, the most important is having enough self-awareness, knowing what's your strength and knowing what's your weakness. Sometimes we know our strength and sometimes we know our weakness, but the situation or the environment is just pushing ourselves. Sometimes like, oh my God, this is not working. This is not giving me enough profit and I cannot stay in line. So we got forced ourselves to jump to another field or to start new business or to start new work, for example. And once it happens, you have to put yourself in a good belief, okay? Because, like the moment you know your strength and your weakness is actually the moment for you to achieve your goals and ambition. Remember, every expert in this world Every successful people in this world once was an ordinary person. As long as we put ourselves in such a lifelong learner and always be curious for improvement, then we can achieve. When you start new business in different field, for example, in your background, the first thing you need to have in yourself is be more flexible. Don't come as a glass of full of water, for example. Maybe you were expert in specific field before, but when you start new business, you have to be a low-key person. You need to understand someone else might be even more expert than me, so I have to be more flexible. I have to listen what other people suggestion and also feedback, because once you become flexible, then you know what is actually your strength, what is actually your weakness. As you come closer to socially yourself in during environment, I also notice that okay, I need to regulate myself. And also when you want to start a new business, please always take care of your time to cultivate your mind in a peace state. I know when you do business, you come to like, okay, I got so much passion. I want to do this, to do that, and so many things going on in my mind. You have to write down these ideas and also take your time aside of the hustle bustle world to reflect on yourself, like simple to meditate, or you don't have to meditate. You can simple laying down on your bed, listening to a classical music or relaxing mind, so you can give spare to your mind to actually grow, because the moment the great idea sometimes comes to our brain when we are in a peace state. Okay, so the first thing is always be more flexible when you start something new. And then also understand, once you be more flexible, please be aware about the strength and the weakness that you can learn from other people, that you can implement also in yourself. And also you have to understand how to regulate the stress management, because when we start something new, there's always much stress from outside, from the inside, that might come on our way. And then you also need to be a socialized person, because business means we need to build a connection, relation, and also collaboration to to other people. So become a good listener is always a good starter to be a socialist, to be a person with good communication or social skills, because maybe you just don't know how to give advice, or you don't know how to, let's say, to cultivate your idea. But once you become a good listener from great people in the new field that you want to, or in the new business that you want to in, then you can get a better understanding about the decision that you want to make in your business. I hope it can answer your question, Dr. Swanan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. So I think we had to find out our, the positive side and the negative side, and that is how we had to develop and cultivate ourselves into that kind of a structure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else from the participants? So thank you so much, Honorable Dr. Swanan Shukla sir, for your queries. And Herdiana ma'am have explained, clarified the question. So thank you so much. Now I request the chief organizer of an international conference, Honorable Dr. M.M. Bedkar sir, for the concluding words. You are welcome.
Thank you, Prashant sir. And today's resource person Herdiana Dewi madam, who is from Indonesia. From participant Prashant Ugade sir, Prakash Karad sir, respected Dr. Swanan Shukla sir, ex-joint director Shaila Sarang madam, and all those who are joined here. Today we invited our resource person Herdiana ma'am, which is not new for us. I think third time she is appearing here. Last time she talked on the mathematics education at the international conference. So she is always touch with our international conference, always supports to us. Today she chose the topic emotional intelligence in business, and she is founder of CEO of Bliss Education Center Indonesia. becomes a CEO of the education industry. She have experience about this type of the intelligence, how our business, how our industry can grow with our emotional intelligence. So as Dr. Swanand Shukla said and others have discussed with this point, emotional intelligence is important to grow the business, to identify our weakness and strength, also to handle the situations what they have arisen in doing such education industry or any business. So this type of situations when we come across, then what our steps are there, how we emotionally solve the problems, all that. So these things are clarified very perfectly with her best PPT. I thank you to you, ma'am, and it's a very useful presentation to all businessmen, maybe in industry or maybe in other circle. Thank you, and we invite you again in next event when as per your availability of time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bidkar.
Just wait for the formal vote of thanks from our team. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Now it's the time to vote of thanks. Sri Kumaraswamy Mahavidyalaya Afsa, District Latur, in Maharashtra State, it's organized. Our all dear participants knows very well that an internationally conference as well as the world record series every day. And today's topic was their emotional intelligence in business, which have explained by Honorable today's keynote speaker, Herdiana Nurfika ma'am, where she explained this psychological term that emotional intelligence. Its types, then different benefits of emotional intelligence, then the comparatively discussed, also explain into emotional intelligence and leadership. Also 5 components of EI, then how it should apply in business and the role of emotional intelligence in business leadership and different ways to improve our EI skills. So these points you covered in your lecture so sincerely, clearly, madam. Basically, it was explaining. You were explaining in very simple words that we could capture all those things from your lecture. So very, very thankful on behalf of the organizing committee members. You paid your valuable time to the series. So thank you so much once again. I also thank the chief organizer of our ideal principal, Dr. M. Bedkar sir. Special thanks to Dr. Swanand Shukla sir. We have nicely interacted with ma'am, discussed and also shared some experience. So thank you so much. And I thanks all dear participants, including my dear friend Sonu Kumar sir and all others. Now I request you all please fill the feedback link which is given in the chat box. With the kind permission of chief organizer, I declare today's session is over. Thank you once again, Herdiana ma'am.
Thank you,
so
Mr. Prasan. Thank you so much, Dr. Bedkar. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you, ma'am.
Sanu.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Bedkar, sir.
Thank you, Krishna ma'am. Thank you. Keep joining daily. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye bye ma'am.
Bye.
You can leave the session. Okay.